episode. What are you, on the toilet?
I was sipping some coffee in a gross manner.
Sipping and slurping. So, Matt, you had a busy week, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, man. I hate it.
Why do you hate it?
It's just been moving. Nothing else.
Like moving into the new shop or busy moving with work?
Oh, yeah, moving the shops. Like, oh. It's terrible.
It was going to be awesome when
terrible.
it's finished.
Yeah, it will be, but, like, it's at its worst now, you know? You have production starting again, and, like, half of the shit you need is in the old location, and the other half is in a new location, and it's just terrible.
So when you go to the shop, do you, like, do what I would do and go in, start a project, and halfway through, like, do 50 other things at the same time?
Yeah, and then forget all the other 50 things that you need to do, and then do it. Yeah, it's rough. Let's keep it at that. What about you?
My week, I was, that last episode with the Salzburg boys there, we had a little bit of like bumping noises or hitting the microphone or something from one of them. There was a lot of editing, so I spent a lot of time editing the last episode, but I think it was worth it. It was a good one.
How much time did you spend on it?
That's tough. I don't know. Like, probably 6 hours. Like,
Jesus. You need to send those fuckers an invoice.
I kind of let it run in the background while I'm doing something, and then if I hear something, I go back and try to take some things out. But it'd be nice to have an episode where we don't have to edit.
Yeah, that would be nice. We have a guest with a very professional setup, so
I hope
should be good. Mm-hmm.
Hey, before we start, I gotta do you know what the Neo Rock is? Like he makes like hammers and reamers and scribes and stuff.
Yeah.
I got a new reamer in yesterday that showed up with the. Have you seen like how he does the knurling on the handles of them? Some of them are like
all the middle fingers and
like
stuff.
X's or middle fingers or I got the one with the middle fingers on it. The thing is awesome. And I got
nice, man.
The original scribe a long time ago.
Are you gonna use it?
Yeah, I use them both. I really like the scribe because it comes to like a super fine point on it. Those work out
Epic. It's kind of a fancy tool, like the one that you wouldn't want to use.
Yeah, you got to use your shit
sure
when you buy them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And if something happens to it, send it back. He'll fix them for you.
Really?
Yep.
Where's he located?
It says lifetime.
Oh, so you buy it once.
You buy it once, cry it once. Yeah. I can't remember right now. I think he's in. Is that Gamico? Is in the UK or? No, it's not the UK.
No, I think it's Australia.
Australia, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is your guest tonight. I don't know him that well, so I think
it is my guest. It
got
is
quite the lineup.
Mr. Jeroen Knippenberg. That's the English version. This is unmute and go.
Yeah.
Welcome, man.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for
Hey,
the
what's
invite,
going on?
Matt, to be on your show. Looking forward to just talk some knives, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Pretty excited about this one.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, we're in in a WhatsApp group with several other makers and stuff, and I found a nickname for Jeroen. I call him Dr. Jeroen Knippenberg.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I deserve that title yet, but try to be helpful.
Yeah, he definitely is. So how was your week?
Yeah, well, busy as well. I rounded up some forging earlier on in the week on 2 blades I'm working on. So 2 more Damascus integral knives. And well, whenever I do some forging, then it's a couple of weeks, and then everything really looks like shit and is covered in dust, etc. So then I need to clean it up all again, and yeah, also doing quite some preparations for a symposium I'm organizing. It's actually this weekend, so we're getting doing the last things that need to be done there.
What's the official name again for the symposium?
It's a Dutch Knife Maker Symposium. No, sorry, Dutch Symposium for Knife Makers, DSK.
It's the first round, right? The first time.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something I I think I was thinking about that about a year ago, and well, the most shows we have around here, well, of course you meet other makers, but they mostly focus on selling stuff, and there are a lot of customers. But I think there's a lot to be learned from knife makers. They can learn from each other. So this is an event that's really for makers only, at least at the moment. And it's all about learning.
This is why I was not invited, Keith.
Well, you made one knife, so you're a maker, right?
No, it doesn't work like that. I've made like potatoes. I'm not a cook.
Yeah, that actually is quite cool. There's some very experienced makers, but also quite some new and all in between. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to how everyone will react, and my intention is to make it, well, at least a yearly event, or at least to repeat it in the future. But
yeah, I think it's a very cool idea. Very, very cool idea.
And what's the idea? Is it some kind of a like a contest, or like you said moving up?
No, it's been, I call it a symposium, and it's something for makers to share their knowledge and their experience, and to learn from each other. So we have about 30 makers in there, which all have a place to show their work, and there are, I think, 6 speakers who do, let's say, a detailed presentation on something they're really, really good at, to get some more in-depth knowledge. And that's, So
there's nobody selling knives?
No,
it's not like that kind of.
It's not for selling.
It's more like sharing knowledge and.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
So you got to get invited to those, right?
Yeah. No. Well, on the forum and on Instagram, well, I basically promoted a bit, and every knife maker could subscribe. And so it filled up rather quickly, so I was happy that I get to fill all the places I had, because that's always the question when you start up first an event like this.
Yeah. But you go this year, and then you get on top of the list for next year's invites.
Yeah, I think so. We have to look at what we can do for next year if we make it bigger, and actually I would like to see to have it in the future, not just presentations, lectures, but also demonstrations and stuff like that. That would be really cool. And I think in other countries you have that a lot more. So
especially in America and UK.
Exactly.
And like hammer-ins, we call them.
Yeah.
What about in Germany, Keith?
I don't live in Germany, so I wouldn't know.
Yes, you do.
But here in Austria, I don't know of any like that. I mean, there's some makers that don't live far apart from each other, and they kind of get together every once in a while. But as for
like a hammer-in type thing.
Yeah.
Which is also pretty awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what I like?
I think it's such a waste that I think there are quite some good makers in the Netherlands, but I have the feeling that they're quite separate from each other, maybe some small groups. But it's everyone who starts new is basically just trying to invent the wheel again, and that's a pity.
It's not really like a community type thing, and the first time, like actually since like that, everyone that's in that WhatsApp group, that's the first time I actually felt like a kind of a community type thing in the Netherlands.
Why is that? They don't like share stuff as openly, or
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what it is. Maybe it has to do something with Dutch people in general, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, there is this forum Messe platform, which is,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's a good community, but it's, I don't know, somehow not much, yeah, new
It's like
makers
on
there.
on an actual forum, you know, like what you used to do back in the day, and I don't know. I didn't really feel like it's a community over there. But not to throw shade at them, but yeah, I like what's happening now. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I see quite some initiatives around from, most of them are quite, yeah, let's say new makers.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a bit of the, let's say the old, what do you say, the old guard, the, let's say the established makers might be a bit
Yeah.
skeptical, but we shouldn't let that discourage us from just try to work together. And I think there's a big benefit in that.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely
Agreed.
grow a lot faster.
Yeah. So ask some
Okay.
knife questions, Keith. Come on.
Yeah, I do have a question for him because I was looking at his Instagram earlier, and he's got a picture of a Black Widow chef. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it's probably somewhere on top of my page, right? So let's say the
Yeah,
all
yeah.
black with the feather. You mean the feather or
Right.
like this lightning bolt?
With the feather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an order for 2 chef knives, and they both want them completely blacked out, and that's like a super dark looking steel. What kind of steel did you use for that?
This is actually quite it's a mix of 4 different types. Might not be the smartest way to start there. But generally, just a simple carbon steel with a bit of manganese generally turns dark quite a bit. So O2, for example, or something like 1095, 1084 also tends to darken quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And generally it's just that's a big long coffee edge that helps with those steels to get them really nice and dark. I think that generally with the coffee edge, the thing is that you can get it quite stable, the black layer, but it always will wear off just a bit or get a bit gray. So
Yeah.
might
Yeah,
be
but some
really
steels they don't get as black as that. Is that from the coffee, or it's just the magnesium in the steel?
No, it's that's also dependent on indeed the alloying in the steel. So in that feather knife you were talking about, I play a lot with that I get basically different contrasts to get different steels with which all have their own shade when etching.
That's the one you had at the last knife show, like in Holland, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
pretty awesome looking knife.
With the horizontal tang, you've been doing a lot of horizontal tangs.
Yeah, it's just something
It's different.
Yeah, that's why I like it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
not really some functional benefit to it, but it's something that's a bit different, and I like that. And I mean, basically, it started with I was making an integral, and then normally I start with the blade, and then in the end you have to forge out the bolster into a tang, and then while you're forging, it doesn't really matter if you do it like regularly or
Yeah.
you flip the 90 degrees and do it horizontally. It does make it the rest of it quite a bit more difficult, but
I love how
like
that
the challenge.
how
Yeah,
that feather
yeah.
like goes into the handle. It's
Yeah, it looks like a stem of a flower, and then blooms out into the blade.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really like that part, and I made a couple of these horizontal tanks, and this is something I had in mind for a couple of years. And yeah, it works really well with this pattern. It's not that great, I think, with other Damascus patterns because, in that tang you squish out that pattern, you stretch it so
You lose
much
it.
that you only get lines, But
Yeah.
with this pattern, it works really well.
Pretty awesome. Well, I've been a fan of your knives since the first thing, the first one I saw. What about that big batch? Tell us something about that.
Yeah, well, it's quite an interesting backstory to it. I think it started about 2.5 years ago, that I wanted to get a bit more serious into knife making, and I just wrote to a local chef from a restaurant near to me, and just to meet up and to get some feedback on some knives I made. So just had an appointment, went there with some knives in my head. I would go home with some feedback on the knives I made, but the guy was really enthusiastic and he really wanted me to work together and to do like a collaboration.
Big old batch. That was a lot of work, I think.
Yeah, that was really ridiculous.
Or I saw, actually.
It's actually 15 knife sets. Each set has 3 knives in it, and then it has a nice case, which it is packaged in. And I think I spent a bit over 500 hours on this entire batch over 2 years. So that was a lot of work. And also a lot more than I thought, when I got the order, but you just have to work on it and see it through.
Yeah, if you start, you have to finish.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a great thing just to build skills and muscle memory, because you do the same thing over and over and over until you get tired of it, but you learn a lot from it.
I can imagine. Would you take an order like that again?
No, I don't think so.
Not right now. Need a break.
Yeah. And the thing is also, I really like these, very special, intricate knives that is just, it's more one-off stuff. I enjoy making them more. So I like to focus more on that. And I think it's also a thing that I could specialize in, because, the more to that level you get, the less competition there is, and the less other knife makers making stuff like that. So it's for me more interesting. I like it more, and I think it's also, from a business point of view, it's a good selling point and a way to set you apart.
I think you're on the right path. Definitely.
Yeah, you have one knife that's like a half integral chef, it looks like, with twist pattern in it, and you can see like the star pattern running through like 7 or 8 layers on it, and it looks like I don't know how you got the pattern to weld together. It looks like long thin strips of a twist pattern that were then welded together or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the one you're talking about is also quite recent, right?
Yeah.
So it's indeed it's a multi-bar twist, or Turkish twist they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's indeed constructed out of 6 bars of twist Damascus. And that's also, it's quite a challenging pattern to make, and it's the first time I did it in this blade, and I wanted
Is this the last one?
Yeah.
Like you're working on now? No, did you finish it?
I just finished it.
Yeah, it was with the awesome reel you made. It was crazy.
Yeah, and it's a challenging. I mean, the idea of that pattern is that you match these twists from all these 6 bars very closely, that you get a pattern that flows throughout, that you don't really see that it's separate bars. And that's something that I like to achieve better in the future. But it's already looks quite good on this one.
Yeah, almost like a chain pattern running through it.
Yeah.
So the reel did very good as well, like in numbers.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
compare it to your, it's just because it's so fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time that works if you have something different, something special. But sometimes
sometimes
really
it's
you
because
cannot
it's a
predict.
knife.
Yeah.
Instagram doesn't like knives very
No,
much.
we are all criminals. We do all the shady stuff in our basements and garages, etc. So
Stab weapons of mass destruction.
You are even worse because you all enable us with selling all this steel and all that stuff. So you're at least as as bad as we are.
Selling zombie green G10.
Supplying the terrorists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like financing ISIS, but then for knife makers here.
Knife ISIS.
Is that the title of the show? I think so, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah. We'll put that down. 20 minutes, 52 seconds.
And then Keith is gonna find your worst picture, and he's gonna put some. How do you call that? Jihad or something? That's a good
nice
one.
beard and stuff. Yeah, let's do that.
I always pick good pictures.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the best ones. So, Jeroen,
Yes.
in the as knife makers, like who's your which knife maker do you knife maker's work do you love the most? Like who's the inspiration to you?
I think from early on, Mareko Mamasi was one of a big inspiration. I think his work is really nice, and it just really speaks to me. And the cool thing is that when I started, it was just something to look at. But I thought, well, I will never get there. But I experienced that with a lot of hard work. Well, you just evolve to making something that starts to go in that direction. And I think also more recently I like the more art knives. That's something. It's not really that I want to make them, but I really like techniques and patterns and stuff that I see in those. So they start to influence my work a bit, I think. So for example, on that multi-bar twist chef knife we just talked about, have let's say the rear end of the bolster is normally they are straight, they are parallel, they are what do you call it, on a right angle with the spine of the knife. But here's something I like to give them a flow as well, give them a curve that match the design of the rest.
Yeah, that one's in like a 30-degree angle or something with the spine.
Yeah, it is, and it's also a bit of a curve in there.
Listen, I'm looking at it and I think it would be a waste using that knife, man. It's
yeah, that's always a bit of a strange thing, because I really like people using my work. I put a lot of effort in making them cut really, really well.
This one, I don't know.
But I can imagine that people also see it as a bit of a waste. But, well, to me, that's up to the customer. If they buy it, then I'm happy and they can do whatever they want with it.
Exactly. So do you guys know who Charlie Lionheart is?
Yes.
Yeah,
his work is really ridiculous. It's so
makes
incredible.
some crazy angles and shapes in the bolsters of his knives. So yeah, I thought you might know who that was.
Yeah, those transitions he has, it's really I can't wrap my head around how he does that.
Yeah, if you follow his Instagram page, though, he spends so much time on each individual knife. There's a lot of jigs and setup just to get your Damascus pattern laid out first before you even start.
Yeah, exactly. That's. The thing I like about his work is that it seems that he just let his creativity take the lead on the builds he does, and he really does things that you don't see much anywhere else, and I like that.
Tough to sell knives and be be working for yourself making knives like that, because you spend so much time. You spend a month making a knife instead of making.
Yeah, it's almost not doable, I think, business wise.
I mean, if you're part time, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'm struggling with at the moment as well. Is that I'm a part-time maker and I like to work to build towards a full-time maker. But the things I really like to make at this moment, I cannot sell them yet for the price that they should cost, just to get a decent wage out of it.
Yeah, but it's actually, that's kind of a thing, because that Turkish twist knife, that's like it's insane. So it should go for a
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
a crazy amount of money, but because you're not like one of the famous guys, it like it's hard to sell.
Yeah.
Is that one
But-
sold already, or?
No, I haven't put it for sale yet. I'm not sure yet if I will want to sell it, and also a couple of shows that I want to take it
Of
Yeah.
bring it with me too. So I'm not selling it yet. Yeah, the thing is, there is a bit of a weld flaw in that pattern. That, well, I'm not sure if it's that big of a deal, but I know it's there, and then I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah, it gets really difficult for me to decide what I should do with it. Because on the
That's-
one
that's-
hand, I think
That's not
yeah,
a weld flaw that you can see.
well, it is if you know it's there.
Yeah.
But
Now I'm looking,
yeah,
but
but
you
Yeah.
can't see it.
it's. I mean, on the one hand, yeah,
No.
it's not that big of a deal. On the other hand, I like to have my work really good with really nothing
Yeah.
you can.
Well, if
well,
you know it's there, and then you know it's there,
Yeah.
that's not going out of your mind again. So.
No,
Maybe
and
just
then
for show.
you have that on one side, and the other side you have all the work that's put in it, and
Mhm.
the potential amount of money that you could get from it.
I think every knife maker sees something like that in their knife or in their work when they finish, and
Yeah.
you're like your worst own critic.
Yeah, and I think that's actually it's a good thing to. You should be your own worst critic,
Yeah.
because if you cannot see what is wrong with your work, then there is no getting better. So I think that's really important, but it's also challenging because they will always a bit disappointed when I finish a knife because I can see
Yeah.
what is not perfect, and that's something I have to
Do you hear that, Keith? He makes a knife like that, and he's disappointed.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but it's also a bit a mindset that I maybe should improve or something. But
It's a good mindset, though. It
Yeah,
only makes
keeps you keeps you making the next one better.
and it's important to me to always improve and do new things, and that's something I really like.
I'm going to ask questions that I already know the answer, but the listeners don't. So what do you do? What's your day job?
Yeah, so as I said, I'm making is part-time knife making, and I have 4 days a week. I have a regular day job. I work in a, let's say, a heat treatment facility. We do not only heat treats but also surface treatment and coatings, etc. And I'm one of the process engineers there in that facility. So it's a lot of making recipes and working with customers to get the parts they bring in to the specs they want to have it.
So heat
That's-
treating like the automobile industry, or what are you heat treating?
Yeah, so automobile, aerospace, food and pharma, and also just regular construction companies, etc.
Oh,
But mostly it's quite high tech. So, I mean, we basically only have do vacuum heat treating, so in big vacuum furnaces,
Mhm.
and
So
so also
no oxygen furnaces.
no, indeed. So it's fully in vacuum, so there's no decarb,
Yeah.
no discoloration. There are quite some customers that are really strict on that they should, all the parts should come out really clean
Uniform and
metal,
all
no
looking the same
no
clean.
discoloration at all allowed. And also for aerospace applications, the demands are extremely high. And you have to have everything controlled and very exactly the heat in your furnace and the heat distribution and the cooling rates and the times, etc. It's quite
So is that what-
closely monitored all.
see, he's a metallurgic wizard, basically.
Is that what got you into knife making? Because of all the heat treating background
No,
that you have, or-
actually, it was more the way the other way around. So I have a mechanical engineering background, not really specialized in metallurgy, but I was working in that and more in the field of 3D printing. And yeah, so actually I was working on a PhD in the university, but it was not really my thing. I didn't finish that, and I started to look in something else. And I was also already making knives for, I don't know, 1 or 2 years maybe. But well, in the Netherlands, there's not really work in professional knife making. There are not really companies doing so.
Yeah.
And so I just basically applied to this heat treatment company because that's basically something that I found very interesting and something that does have a link with the knife making.
And had you already started like heat treating at home with your knives before you started working?
Yeah, I did. So basically, I started my own heat treatment from let's say the beginning of the knife making, because the thing I like a lot is that I had quite a bit of theoretical knowledge when I started knife making, and then to combine it with let's say practical experience. It's a cool combination to have.
Just the oven's a little bigger at work. That's all, right?
Yeah, that's
pretty big. So what does your company do for the food industry?
So what we do a lot is so all these foods, all kinds of machines processing food. They are generally austenitic stainless steels, so 304, 316, which are basically the corrosion resistance is really good. And that's important, of course, in the food industry. You can't have a lot of rust in your ketchup, for example. But,
especially ketchup is horrible.
But the thing is that these stainless steels, they are very soft and very so especially if you have moving parts, etc., they wear a lot or they start to gel, so they weld to each other, and that's basically something that's not desired. And we have let's say a surface treatment that you can harden these surfaces of this austenitic stainless steel, and that we do that a lot for food industry.
Yeah, we used to do that. The company that I came from, they used to do that for some things.
This is starting to sound familiar, Matt. Is this the guy who does that special coating thing?
No.
You were talking about?
No, but I think he knows about it. If he's a bit in the it's Jeroen. It's the process is called Viewatech. Do you know that?
Yeah.
It doesn't ring a bell. What exactly is
it? It's water. I'm going to say the Dutch word. It's waterstralen. And dan for the food industry, zeg maar.
Okay.
So normally, if like in stainless steel, like for food, you need the surface roughness can be around 0.8, I think. And normally, if you sandblast stuff, it doesn't. You can't get that surface roughness, so you need you need to polish the inside of tanks and stuff. And this guy is also like a professor. He managed to create a way to basically sandblast, but then in water. And that way you can like sandblast your stainless steel tank from the inside, outside, everywhere. And it'll get a nice and even color, and it's food safe. So no more polishing for stainless steel.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Not familiar with the technology, but it sounds really useful.
It is.
No, because your Dutch word sounds like the German word Wasserstrahlen, which means water jet. So
yeah, we just added like an E.
Yeah, throw E on the end.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we do.
Yep, closely related, I guess, to the German language. And the thing that makes it even worse that I'm coming from the south of the Netherlands, and so people like Matt always say that people who live where
So
I
you
live
talk
are basically
with the
Germans
slang.
already. So
Hey, they say that about me too.
really,
Yeah,
Like
man, you're not
I'm
far
in the
away.
east. I'm in the east. I'm 20 kilometers away from Germany. So
No, I'm a little bit closer. I'm about 20 minutes away. So
isn't everyone like around Germany is close to Germany?
20 minutes by camel.
Yeah. 20 minutes away, you American. Stop that.
Hey, Matt. Have you seen the new things on Instagram from Baker Forge? He's got Apex Ultra Copper Mile. On. You see
Yeah,
that?
I saw. Now, like, you never share anything in Baker Forge, but now there's some Apex Ultra in there, and
Yeah, of
suddenly
course
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna share that.
share it.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
share
no,
it.
I saw it. It was a very limited run, I think.
I didn't. It's gonna be out on Saturday night at like 8:30.
Yeah,
US
and
time.
I'll guarantee you that 8:32 it'll be sold out.
I'm gonna stay up if it's in the middle of the
Oh,
night.
are you gonna buy it?
Yeah, I'm gonna order a box and send it to my parents' house. Then I have to wait till July to get it.
But yeah, well, you'll have one. So if you wanna like some business advice, Jeroen, if you want to go full time,
well, sure. Let's hear it. Yeah.
be like Baker Forge and Tool. Go make bars for people.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about that, and I could do it. I think my shop is not that efficient for it. I actually made some kumai as well. I think last year or something.
Yeah.
But it's really a pain in the ass to forge out with like a small press and no rolling mill or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
quite challenging.
I think you can do. I think you'd be like the right guy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it already. Yeah, I made a knife out of it, but the shitty thing is that the melting point of copper is quite low, and then
Yeah.
it's like, let's say, on the low end of the forging temperature of most steels. So then you have basically you're forging on low temperature, and then well, shit doesn't
Yeah.
want to move at all. So
It's tricky.
it really takes a lot of time.
Yeah. What do you think about that nickel shim stuff? I keep seeing that a lot. Was it stainless shim? How did they do that?
Yeah, I think it's probably just a let's say nickel, thin layer of nickel, or maybe nickel foil.
It's
I
just
think-
like a diffusion layer.
Yeah, I think it's quite a good idea because that copper really likes to diffuse into the steel, and a bit is okay because that means just a stronger bond between the steel and the copper, but it also tends to make the steel a bit brittle, so you don't want to have too much copper diffusion into your steel. Yeah, I'm not sure how bad it is if it's not really close to the edge, but it's safe to have that nickel shim in there to prevent too much copper diffusion into your steel. And it looks cool in my opinion. It looks nice. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very cool. Yeah, it does.
Is it more difficult with brass than it is with copper?
Yeah, well, a brass melting point is even lower than copper.
Even lower,
so
right? Yeah.
that's-
What about gold?
Gold is I don't know. I think close to copper or maybe a bit higher. So
This Dennis Terrell. Do you follow him?
Yeah. Stop it. He's not the first one though.
I'm not saying he's the first one. I'm not
He keeps
saying
saying
it.
He keeps
Yeah.
saying he's the first one.
No, but
Is he?
you I have to look up the gold vein knives. I think it's something from
From
Eating
Tobias
Tools.
Hangler.
Yeah, and that
Oh.
they already did that, and I mean, I think it's just like a fancy selling point. It looks cool. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
sure
just
if
it's like
it's-
look at,
Yeah,
look at what I
it's
did.
really expensive. I think it was like 40,000 for that knife.
Holy
Really?
shit!
But was it the attention to make like a small batch or something, or
No, I think they made 3 so far. One
Okay.
sold, and Tobias has one, and I can't remember who the second guy was that was in gold vein.
So, but Keith, it's like if it didn't happen in America, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
So-
right. Actually, I'm gonna take that back because I don't think I've heard Dennis Tyrell say he was the first, but I've heard
No,
a lot
he
of other
didn't.
people.
Yeah,
a lot of other
yeah.
people say that he was the first.
Dennis Terrell would never like take credit for something that someone else already did.
No. And
He's
also
not bigger.
there aren't really that much first things in knife making anymore because
Yeah.
only so many ways you can make a blade, so it's really difficult to really do something new.
Yeah, but back to making it full time with like selling Damascus, I think like the best selling point that Baker has is like a nice clean billet with
Yeah.
like a little pre-etch so you can see everything. That's like a huge difference. A lot of people that sell Damascus, you just get the scale all over it. You gotta straighten it out. You gotta grind it yourself. And with Baker,
They grind it down now. They surface grind it.
yeah, they have a Blanchard grinder, so you get like a rough finish. I don't know what it would be, like 120 grit finish or something with an etch, so you can see what it is, or 240 something similar.
Yeah. They don't do that. I think they just started doing that. They didn't always do that, right?
I think they did.
Did really? Okay. Well, maybe I'm talking out of my ass then.
Maybe.
Probably.
But I do think it's a good idea to really, if you're making Damascus for stock removal guys, then it should be really
Yeah.
flat, cleanly ground, straight, because
Most
I
of
mean-
the people who are buying it are doing stock removal anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people that can't forge themselves, so they need
No,
it,
I mean,
like you said, 100%
if you
flat.
forge, it's not a big deal. But if you're stock removal maker, and especially if you're relatively new, then it's such a hassle to work with crooked material, and it just should be straight. I think that's a big selling point.
Do you have any shop upgrades that you're looking at?
Yeah, I recently bought a surface grinding attachment for my belt grinder, so that's something I got. Actually, I think, end of last year. So it's
What
actually
kind of
from, do you know Oliver Tobin from Tobin
Yes.
Machines?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it's called.
It's his friend.
It's your buddy.
They're all friends.
But it's actually quite a nice machine, and he made it to fit my grinder because I have this from Clarix Metalworks, and
Yeah.
they already have, I think, for at least a year they have a coming soon surface grinding attachment on the website, but I'm not sure if there's anything coming.
So he
But,
made his fit onto that grinder.
Yeah, actually, Oliver made it fit. I just sent photos and measurements and drawings, and he just made it fit on there. So that's really nice.
So that's the first time you had a surface grinder?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used it now quite a lot for Damascus making, because it's really nice if you do a restack, then that everything is nice and clean and flat, that you don't have gaps in your billets, stuff like that.
Do you just use like a 36 grit or?
Yeah, I think mostly I did 60 grit finish, which is fine for forge
For
welding.
stacking,
And,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. And if it's a more critical weld, then I do 120.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure if it's really needed. I think of course it's better, but I'm not sure.
You can
Just
always
want to-
overdo it.
Yeah, I like to have a bit of peace of mind, especially in the later stages of a Damascus build, because there's so much work and money going down the drain if you fuck up one of the last welds. So let's not do that.
Yep.
Yeah, surface grinder is an awesome attachment. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know how much you need it until you get one. Then you use it all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly. The only thing is that I had planned to use it more for actually the knife making itself after the forging, but I also plan to do more of these integral bolsters, and then you have this shitty bolster that's always in the way, so you can't really slap it on a surface grinder, and I mean, maybe I could, but yeah, just have to look at it.
Tricky.
And I also got
So-
from Oliver Tobin, I got this, actually I don't know what he calls it, but it's
The S grind attachment.
no, it's the fuck, I have to look up. It's like for sending plunge lines and also for this integral
Oh, the
transitions.
waterfall pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the one he has, it's like a waterfall with a couple of different radius, but it also
Yeah.
has this combination of a flat platen with a small wheel.
I have the same one.
So it's for integrals. It's really nice. It's a great upgrade for my because I used to did this front transition of the bolster. I did it on the flat platen and a lot of sculpting and a lot of shit.
A lot of
and
practice.
Yeah, and also way too many hours of hand sanding.
Yeah, that jig saves a lot of time.
Yeah. So actually, I used it first on that the multi-bar twist blade, and yeah, I will use it now. I think on every knife I make. So that's a good upgrade.
Yeah, as for the bolster transition where you made the half integrals, back to Charlie Lionheart, he just showed a video of how he made a jig for that.
Okay.
So you use a jig on a regular tool rest. It's like 1, 2, 3 blocks and a couple spaces in between it, and then your knife goes in the middle. It looks kind of bulky, but once you get it on the work rest, you can get all your angles even on each side. It looked like a really good idea.
Yeah, I think that's really nice. I mean, then he has like
You have something
sides
square
of
to
the-
start with.
yeah, I think the side of the blade is really the reference. That's where it clamps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
do now is that I intentionally do quite thick bolsters. They are so they are straight and parallel when I start all the grinding, so that I have nice flat surfaces that I can use as a, let's say, a guide to grind other things.
Yeah.
And then only on the end, when I finished all the bolster shaping, then I just taper these sides and make it smaller so that I get a nice size. But I use just make them just quite big and flat just to have nice reference surfaces. But that would not be necessary with that Charlie Lionheart jig. I don't know,
Yeah.
actually. I have to look if I can buy it or ship it, or that it will
What,
cost
does
way
he
too
sell
much.
Does he sell the jig?
I don't know. I think I saw something about batchwork, but I'm not sure if it's
Oh.
actually for
Keith,
that.
do you know
specific
anything
jig.
about that?
No, I don't know if it's for sale. At least in these pictures that I saw, it looked like it was something he was still working out.
Okay. Seems like a good idea.
Maybe you can get him in your shop.
Hmm.
So you got a few days before this episode comes out to be the first one to ask.
Yeah, and the thing always with jigs is that I think it's really difficult to make a useful jig that's also relatively universal. Because if you have a very good jig that is, say very narrow, very little thing you can do with it, then mostly
Yeah,
it
it's
might
just-
not even be useful for me because
Yeah, it's just for one purpose.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just easier to do it freehand if you've been doing it long enough.
Yeah, because also all my grinding I do freehand, and that's certainly not the easiest way to do it, but I need
You
to do it
freehand
because
everything?
yeah, not everything, but the bevel grinding and the
Yeah.
hollows, etc. I freehand all of that
Yeah.
because there's always this bolster in the way, and it's like an angle transition. So
No, I mean, I'm all for it. And if you can do it by hand, I think that's the best way. But who am I? I'm not a knife maker.
it's certainly the most versatile way, but
Hmm.
it also depends on what kind of knives you make, if you can use jigs or not, or
Yeah, like if you're making like a batch of 15 sets of 3, then you might want to consider a jig.
you might want to. I didn't, but I think would have been a good idea.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Probably.
You didn't use any jigs for all those sets you made?
No, not really.
No.
Let me think. No.
That's crazy,
Like,
right?
Like all the handles and everything too, all freehand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. There's a small jig I use for the handles.
Just like
to
basic
get-
square up.
Yeah, it's basically I square up my table to the flat platen on the grinder, and then use kind of a 45-degree holding thingy that just.
Yeah.
So I start with a nice square handle block, and then it's really easy to make like an octagon shape for these handles.
See, Matt, that's a jig that a lot of knife makers have, but they're all like handmade. They just make their own,
Yeah.
and
3D
it's just
print
like a
some- something
45-degree
like that.
angle.
Yeah, it's just like everyone makes them out of angle iron, right?
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, make me a sketch, Keith. I told you a million times.
But
Asking
I
the wrong
thought
guy.
that you guys had quite some plans on upcoming knife shows too. Well,
Yeah, he's coming to Holland.
nice. Looking
Yeah,
forward to that.
with all
Man,
his shit.
speaking of that, Matt, I looked at that today. It's 860 kilometers for me.
Nice.
It's like 9 hours and 20 minutes.
And now, okay, is that too far to say like, oh, that's like a 9 hour drive, or now all of a sudden you can do kilometers?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been that far on a camel, so I can't tell you how long it takes.
It's gonna be a one, but you know, you committed, so you have to go.
Yeah, it's too late. We already got the table, right?
Yeah.
But I think the Dutch
did.
knife exhibition is really great for selling to makers because actually I'm not sure, but at least for me, I really don't sell any knives there. Just a lot of people say, "Oh, well,
There's-
that's nice stuff." But
Yeah. Let me
all
hold
the-
that.
there's so many makers there who just like to buy steel and blocks of wood and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's I don't know what you're used to, like in knife shows. It's not like a really big one, but everyone that's there is like a maker and ready to buy.
Yeah, that's what most shows are.
Yeah.
At least half the people there are makers themselves looking for ideas, and they'll
Mhm.
pick up like a block of wood or here or there or some material when they see something they like.
So Jeroen, are you going to any other knife shows?
Yeah, so this year, start off the Dutch knife exhibition and I go to Solingen.
Yay!
So actually, I've never been there before, also not as visitor, so I'm looking
So you
forward
got a table already?
to that one. Yeah.
Cool.
I think if I make kitchen knives, then that's really the place to be here in Europe because
Yeah, we're going too.
also big table combined, you two.
Yeah.
We have the biggest one they got. I think it's 20 square meters,
Nice.
like a booth. So
Go big or go home.
send them an email. Tell them you want to be next to Matt. They organize us all
Okay.
together. We'll be next to
see?
Hoover and
Martin Huber and who else?
stock removal forge or what.
He talks too much, man. Please don't.
No, Chris will be there from Forge Works. I think Spear and Knives is going to be there, and Ben Halbauer will be at his table from Alb Knives.
You guys have way more. This is what basically we're trying to do with the Dutch knife artisans as well. That community that you guys have, you know, Huber, you, and all the other guys.
Yeah, we go to the show. There'll be like 10 or 12 of us right next to each other.
That's basically what we're creating. Of where it's, I'm not I'm just like a member, but yeah, that's what we're trying to get here as well, and I think it's working.
In Austria, there are also quite some very good makers, and they also quite closely working together.
And there's one shitty knife shop over there.
Where's that?
Austria. Don't know?
No, never heard of him. You gotta send me a link.
Yeah, and so for still looking for a third show next year. No, sorry, this year.
You went to France last year, right?
Yeah, so I went to Paris. Was quite a nice show, but well, it's a bit more focused on folding knives. But actually, quite a high level there. Quite some very good guys, also from all around the world. So it was really good to connect with them and to just look at work that's really good. And it's quite a lot of steps above my level, so that's good for the inspiration. So
Have you made a folding knife before?
no, I haven't, and I don't know. It's not my kind of thing. I just get nervous with everything so precise and so small. So
Oh man, I follow some of these guys and I just look at them making it and I'm like, oh my god, all that fiddly stuff. I don't
it's
think
actually
it's fun.
a good friend of mine, Jozef Haans, nice Dutch name, but he's a folding knife maker. He makes slip joints, and he's really good at it. I think he makes really nice work, really well
Very good
finished.
stuff.
And it's funny because I've been to his shop and it's really like 2 square meters, and it was like a washing machine underneath his workbench and stuff like that. But he just makes the most amazing knives from there, and it's all for everything. He has like a little jig and little smart thing he thought of. So it's really
that's
cool,
like-
and
Yeah, folding knife guys make lots of jigs, lots of
They're
little
like
tools.
wizards, but they're like other wizards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the reason why I bought a surface grinder, but I still haven't finished a pocket knife. I got like a pile of six.
I feel like what do you say, like a caveman, really, if I compare with those guys, because I'm not that precise at all. Maybe I should be, but
I don't think so. I think like the knives you're making is more of a talent almost. I don't know how to. Like you say, you're freehanding. You're like the steel, like making that Damascus. It's not all just measuring and knowing exactly where to go. It's also like a talent, like a gut feeling or something.
yeah, I think it's a nice mix of two, because
Mhm.
I do like to work in a bit of creativity and to just figure it out along the way, but I also do quite a lot of planning and measuring and planning out up front, because in the end I think it's, yeah, if you want to have a nice result on a really complex build, then you really have to, because otherwise there are way too many points along the way where you can screw up and really get something weird out of it.
Hmm.
But then on the other end, you have this, yeah, for example, these folding knife makers, who is really precision machining and a lot of engineering stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
awesome too. Like in its own way.
Yeah, really impressive.
Yeah.
So I have one guy on a symposium we talked about at the beginning, and he's giving a lecture there. It's actually quite a young Belgian maker, and it's really, his work is so impressive and so well thought
Name
of.
drop him
It's-
because I want to invite him as well.
His name is
Yeah.
Simon Strijkers.
We're gonna
So-
put him on a list, Keith. Yeah,
He's a really friendly guy, really modest, but his work is really good.
yeah. I think he was at the knife show as well, right? Last year,
Which show?
the Dutch one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He
I
is
think
there
he was.
often. At least I'm not sure if he
As a
had a
guest.
table last year.
No, he didn't have. I think he was there just as a visitor.
Yeah.
And we talked, we shook hands. I think.
Yeah, he's a great maker as well, and it's also really nice. I've been to his shop as well, and then he has like a CNC machine, but it's really something. I think he took an old milling machine and really converted him himself to a CNC with all the actuators and stuff, and
It's pretty awesome.
It's,
Yeah.
So it's really impressive the work what he does, and his knives are really well thought of, but they're still very useful. They are really meant to be used in the outdoors and stuff like that, and they're like simple but so clean and so beautiful. So I really can enjoy that.
Some of your Damascus would be great for those folder guys.
Yeah.
You probably get pieces big enough that you cut out that they could use for a
Yeah,
blade.
that's actually the funny stuff. So the Joseph I mentioned a little earlier, a lot of offcuts I have. I can't do anything with them, and I give it to him, and he makes 2 knives out of it or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's really funny. So I always have pieces left over, and I just give it to them, and it's also really cool to see. Well, let's say the same steel I made in a really different application.
Like the one man's trash is another man's. How do they say that? Treasure.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting on that, but I don't want to pressure him at all. But he's making a folding knife out of the feather pattern we just talked about earlier.
Oh,
So I'm really looking forward to what that
Yeah.
will look like.
hurry up, man! We want to see it.
No, it just if you just give him his time, and then suddenly a couple of months just later, something really impressive stuff just came out of nowhere. But he's just working on it, so let him do his thing. It's really cool to see. And also the same goes with scrap wood and handle material. Don't know if you know Beat Fabriek. Willem is the guy from the Netherlands who makes all kind of beads and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yep.
And then every time I see him at a knife show, I just give him a box of offcuts from handle material that are really useless to me, but
Yeah.
well, he makes all kind of cool stuff from
Yeah,
it.
he can use them.
I like that.
Yep. Nice. So Matt, you ready for one of our skits here?
Is it, did you like also the new one you were talking about?
No, that one's not ready yet.
Fucking lazy.
You got this one.
Welcome to Wanker of the Week.
Week. Very nice. Very nice.
It's kind of that's what your microphone sounded like when we first started.
Front door.
Wanker of the week, man. Yeah.
Moving.
What is it?
Moving. Buying into companies, moving shops. It's terrible. I'm not gonna explain anymore. I did it like I was whining like a little bitch in the beginning of the episode. So that.
Yeah, this is like the third time you talked about something and then used it as Wanker of the week.
Sorry, but it's keeping me. It's annoying the hell out of me. So every other Wanker of the Weekish thing that comes by, it's I don't even see it because this move is so bad. So
we had the guys from Salzburg on last week, right?
They're both talking about Wankers of the Week because
they're supposed to be making finishing knife ices for me. Remember? Yeah. Well, guess what happened?
Those lazy bastards.
No. No, he wrote me like 2 hours before the show and said that they're finished, so he can't be Wanker of the Week.
They're not in your shop.
No, I don't have them here.
Do you have proof? I bet he just sent you a text like they're done, but they're actually working on it now. Yeah,
he might have, yeah.
I reconsider your Wanker of the Week, but
yeah, that was going to be my Wanker of the Week, but he says they finished. I don't know.
6 hours of work, Keith. Editing. Now I'm reversing.
But it was a good show.
Yeah, it was a very good show, but they're both Wankers of the Week.
You got to go see their setup with all the power hammers and stuff. It's crazy.
Well, it's, like, how far is that? I probably it's just the same as you coming to
860 kilometers.
Like yeah. You're almost in Italy.
Hey, speaking of Italy, should we go through the list?
Why is there an Italian in there?
No, you know me. I got that all screwed up. It's supposed to be.
It's the same. It doesn't matter. Do we have a new one?
The same thing. It's all the same. Yeah, you know how
we should be
American
having. Yeah, it's all the same. Outside of America, it's all like Americans are non-Americans.
We got Christoph Stiegler from Kanji Knives, Sven from Nord Artisan, Johan Fagerlund from Fagerlund Bladesmith, Travis Haynes from Bird Forge, Roy Rutten, Mark Vanderwerf from 118 Blades. Unfortunately, I was going to edit out that France music from Ben here because I think it's not getting funny anymore, so I'm going to attempt to pronounce number 7, Chez d'Argent.
Chez d'Argent.
And then we got two new ones. We got Albert Engelberger from Salzburg Messerschmied from the last episode. And we got Paul Balletta from Balletta Handmade Knives.
We've been texting back and forth, Mr. Balletta.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's interested in some stuff.
We did a little trade. I got him a small vise, and he gave me one of his rattle EDC knives.
So he's into. Oh shit!
So.
You shouldn't tell me that.
He's gonna start forging.
Yeah, we should tell me. Yeah,
he needs a forge.
I know. You shouldn't tell me all that stuff. Because now I'm probably gonna trade half of it for knives.
Yeah, he likes to trade.
I like trading as well. It's terrible. I'm not making any money because of it.
Yeah, I got a pile of knives.
Yeah, it's just so easy, It's like business money, and then you're like, oh yeah, well, what the fuck? Yeah. So Jeroen, you're still here?
Yes, I am.
Do you have a Wanker of the Week?
Yeah, I was thinking about that while you were just cussing at all your wankers. But even though it sounds quite whiny, but I think that should be the cold weather. Because
Oh, yeah.
it really sucks to make knives in a really cold shop.
Oh,
because
it's terrible, isn't it?
mine has no insulation whatsoever, so everything is frozen in there, and like the swath bucket under the grinder and the cooling bucket and everything is frozen. And I had to grind out 2 knives, I think yesterday, but yeah. You can't use gloves and you still have to cool every time, so you're just working out 2 hours with wet fingers in -4 degrees. or
It's
something.
terrible, man. I'll join in on that. I tried to pour ribbon burners at this temperature. Guess what? That doesn't. It doesn't work. So and it's horrible because they're like half-ass hard. It's just terrible to get everything out so I can reuse it was horrible. Yeah, it's just it was a mess. Ugh.
Well, I work outside a lot for my regular job, but unfortunately, or good for me, I don't know what it's like to be in a cold shop. Mine's heated. I can't imagine doing that. Everything, all the machines and steel and everything you touch is freezing cold.
That's what real men do, Keith.
That's not fun anymore.
That's what real men do. They just do that. But you work for a heating company, right? Or coolers. You have like a heater everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, in the winter, you just want the shop to be warm. And
Yeah.
then in the summer, it's 30 degrees and you're sweating your ass off. And then you want
Yeah.
it to be colder and just...
And it's really a Dutch thing as well because we are always complaining about the weather.
Yep.
Always. It's never good.
I think it's complaining in general. That's something we really like to do.
Yeah.
And if we have nothing to complain about, then we complain about the fact that we have nothing to complain about. And then we're happy
Exactly.
again.
Well, you can join that knife group and complain about each other.
So, any plans for the weekends or the next week for you guys?
I don't want to talk about it. It'll be more moving.
Matt's moving.
You
Yeah.
going to a different shop, a bigger shop, or
We're having it's with the main company, and we're the goal is Monday. So coming Monday, we have to be in production. So no matter what, this weekend everything gets installed and ready, and yeah,
The final
Yeah.
sprint.
yep.
So, how many guys you got helping you move?
Yeah,
Just you?
No, it's me, the companion, and the guy. But in the weekend, like maybe my dad comes to help out, but it's just gonna be us probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already like the bulk of the material is there. We like it's also because it's been like 3 or 4 weeks now of moving, and yeah. It's just the end of the line. Like whenever the end is near, you're just it's getting tougher.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'll be busy. I got hammers and file guides to do this
how
weekend.
many hammers are you gonna make?
I got like 20 of them ready and 20 file guides, but we'll see how
What do
many.
you
I get
use for straightening your knives, Ayron?
I have I just recently have this carbide tip hammer. Unfortunately, not the Newark thing, but some kind of thing I got from Etsy. But it works
Does
well.
it work?
Yeah, it works quite well. I mean, it straightens quite easily. It does leave some dents. You have to
Your
grind them
surf-
out, but you
surface
don't have
grind
to
them out.
grind too much of it.
Yeah.
So this big batch were all Newark stainless steel knives, which is not the toughest steel out there. So I tried to straighten some blades in a 3-point setup in my vise and broke 2 of them. So then I had enough of that and used this carbide hammer. But
And did you break any with the
no,
hammer?
not at all.
I
Works
think
really
that's
well.
it's only okay. I got you, Keith. I think only amateurs break hammers with break knives with a carbide tip. Don't you think?
I think it's impressive if you can break them.
See,
It's a good job.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. Because well, I mean, I haven't straightened 100 knives with it, but I've never broke one or chipped
Yeah,
anything.
and like 50%, that's like half of your knives gone. So
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like a
seems like
lot,
they're
but
just smashing it with the wrong hammer or whatever.
Yeah, maybe not swing it like a forging hammer, but just gentle taps. That'll do it.
a lot of small taps. So.
But luckily for most of my, let's say, my regular knives, I don't really need to do much straightening. I mean, if you normalize and anneal enough, and also after quenching go straight between aluminium plates, it works fine. And if I have to do a bit of straightening, I do it in the temper, and then mostly everything is sorted.
Cool.
And also most of my grinding I do after heat treatment, especially on this long thin.
You grind it at full thickness.
Yeah, I heat treat it at full thickness, and then then grind from there. Might be a bit harder on abrasives, but well, if that saves me any warp or stuff like that.
He has a new supplier, so no problem.
You're gonna be like the grinding belt king here in the Netherlands, right?
I hope not, actually.
Why
It's
is
just-
that? I mean,
It's
ma-
no
money
abrasives.
to-
Like, ask Keith why he's not selling abrasives.
Why is that, Keith?
Because Matt sells them. He just likes to complain.
I don't like to complain. It's just you're doing it for the knife makers. If you want to make money, you're not gonna sell abrasives. So that's why Keith is not doing it.
I think all the makers want to nickel and dime you and just buy from some guy in Poland who does it €1 cheaper or something.
Yeah. The thing is, you can only make money in abrasives if you sell to companies like mine. Yeah,
Big bulk.
that's where the money is, and it's not.
So you only touch them
Yeah.
once. Yeah, it's a lot of work. You got people buying 5 belts, or 1 belt, or 2, and you got to box them, package them, fit them together somehow.
And there's no margin. If you like, it's just like you have to give them away. And if they only like buy like 5 belts only, then shipping takes all your margins away.
It's just like a big drug cartel, right? All the money is at
Yes,
the big
especially
bosses.
3M. Especially 3M.
Yeah, really.
3M is the worst. Yep. The
But
worst.
what are things for you that are most profitable to sell as a, let's say, knife
Forges.
supply shop?
Forges and grinders.
Yeah, those Apollo forges look really nice. I'm sure
Mhm.
that will be my upgrade for forging in the future.
Yay! We have to figure something out for your shop to make like a special rolling stand.
Yeah, just get me a bigger shop that'll work well. Also.
Yeah, well, you're welcome, but it's a far drive. You can hang out in mine. I have space.
Yeah, we're actually looking for a new house with a bit more space, but also would be nice if it would be close to our current house, and that's a bit tricky.
Hmm.
And also
And
not
the-
paying way too much money for it.
That's what you're doing if you buy now.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
It's terrible. I don't. How's that over there, Keith?
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it's the same here. It's just
Yeah.
fucking insane.
The shop I have now is like a 1-car garage right next to our house in the middle of a, let's say, what do you call this?
A street?
Residential area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
luckily no complaints from neighbors, but I try to keep the noise a bit down and also keep the noise down in a bit crazy hours, but it would be nice to live somewhere where
You,
no
you
one
gotta put
bothering
some
me.
rubber on your anvil. That'll take all the noise out.
On top or on the bottom.
On the top.
That'll work.
There's one more skit, I think.
Yeah, and I was gonna suggest that. One
Yeah.
more
Wrap it up.
hour and 15
Wrap it
minutes.
up. We're getting better, man. We're forgetting time.
I know.
Okay, I'll have one question for both of you.
Go ahead.
All right, then it can't be that bad.
Do you know what's coming, Jeroen?
He's laughing.
I have no clue, but I'm sure it will be fun.
It's a gross or a disturbing would you rather question, and you have to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you rather chew on on a mouthful of your own toenails or a mouthful of someone else's hair?
Not sure if there's a big difference.
Oh man, that's such a tough one.
Can I choose the person for the hair, or is that
No, it's
assigned at random?
It's no.
Yeah, where's the hair coming
It's
from?
just someone else's hair. It doesn't say.
Okay. So it's like you get like 3 boxes and you have to pick one, and then it's a surprise what hair it is.
Yeah, and it's like a mouthful. Don't forget that. That's a lot of hair.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna answer. I'm going for the toenails because hair is nasty, and I can't imagine like if I have one hair stuck in my mouth, it drives me nuts. So I can't imagine a handful of it.
I'm going for and they're my own toenails, so it's I know it's gross, but
yeah.
still, that's better than
I
someone
think
else's hair.
that's the best one indeed, the toenails.
Your own toenails. Okay. Do you want another one, Keith? Just for you?
Yeah, why not? Go, let's do it. I mean, it was a great show till we got to the toenails. Yeah.
Here it goes. Would you rather swim in a pool of your own bodily pus, or run through
Bodily pus.
a field of rotting corpses? But you have to swim like in a pool of it. It's insane. I'll run to a field of rotting corpses every day.
Yeah, I'll be running behind you.
What about you, Jeroen?
Yeah, let's do the corpses then.
It's
Getting your feet
zombie
dirty
style.
and not the rest. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
might be a bit of a Walking Dead episode, and then
Yeah.
would be fun.
I would love that.
But I like the variety in the subjects you cover in your podcast. It's really refreshing.
I would try. Yeah.
Especially if someone's not like actively listening. This is always a good surprise.
Yeah,
It's like, whoa, that escalated quickly.
From Turkish twist Damascus to toenails, we got it
Yeah,
all.
that covers it. I think so.
That would also be a good name, by the way.
Yeah,
Turkish twist
from Turkish twist to toenails.
for the podcast. Yeah.
Well, what was the other one? It was something like ISIS knife making. I don't know. Something. What was it?
Oh, he's put a timestamp on it. It'll be good. Keith will handle it. He's the assistant.
So, Jerome, where can we find you, or our listeners find you?
Well, you can go to Instagram at Knippenberg Knives. So it's KNIPPENBERG. And
Yep.
it's the same name I use on my website, so knippenbergknives.com.
Knippenberg knives everywhere.
For any of our listeners, that knife with the Turkish twist is still for sale. Everything's got a price. So
Everything got a price. So make me an offer I cannot refuse, and we'll figure it out.
that's
You'll
right.
get it after all the shows.
There we go.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. It was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
a nice evening like this.
Yeah. Well, have a
Yep.
good one.
You too. Have fun with your toenails.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to all our Patreons, too. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.